So, good afternoon, everyone. Dear guests, what an honor it is to welcome you today in the beautiful theater aan het Vrijthof. Again, a sunny day. We are always lucky. And I think the professors in the gowns are not so happy because it was a nice but warm walk all the way here. On behalf of my colleagues in the executive board, Pamela and Jan Tjitte, and the 6 deans of our faculties seated here on the first row, welcome, welcome, welcome. A special word of welcome to our keynote speaker, distinguished EU Commissioner Roxana Mînzatu, also Executive Vice President of the European Commission and Commissioner for Social Rights, Skills, Quality Jobs and Preparedness. It's a whole label of domains that you are responsible for. And you play a leading role in shaping Europe's social policies, skills development and the future of work. And we are truly honored to have you here today. And I also like to warmly welcome Professor Dr. Mark Levels, Professor of Health, Education and Work, Program Director of ROA, our Research Center for Education and the Labor Market. And whoever reads our newspapers, ROA is always in everyday newspaper, I dare to say here. And Mark is also our University Dean for Lifelong Learning. He's a specialist in the relationship between education, skills, and the labor markets. And a warm welcome as well to Dr. Ellen Bastiaens. She is the director of EdLab, that is our Center for Teaching and Learning. She is dedicated, as long as I know her, which is already almost 10 years, but even before, to strengthening academic education and developing new ways of teaching and learning. And daarnaast, I'll switch to Dutch, which is also nice to switch a little bit in this bilingual university. Daarnaast is het een bijzondere eer om te mogen verwelkomen gouverneur Emiel Roemer, burgemeester Wim Hillenaar van Maastricht, burgemeester van Heerlen, Roel Wever, burgemeester van Beek, Christine van Basten-Baudin, burgemeester van Venlo, Antoine Scholte, wethouders van verschillende Limburgse gemeenten, statenleden en gemeenteraadsleden, senator Theo Bovens, rector van de Universiteit Hasselt, Bernard van Heusden, de leden van onze Raad van Toezicht en uiteraard ook de Raad van Bestuur van het MUMC+. En daarnaast ook een speciaal welkom aan de collega-bestuursleden van de Limburgse kennisinstellingen, van Zuidhogeschool, van Vista, van Fontes en de HAS. Heel warm welkom, fijn dat jullie er weer zijn. En natuurlijk aan al onze collega's en studenten die vandaag ongelooflijk veel zin hebben om weer te mogen starten. Dat hoop ik, althans. En ook via, ja, daar gaan we voor klappen, nu al. And of course also welcome to everyone in our live stream. This year's theme is clear. Innovates, today's education, tomorrow's skills. And in a rapidly changing world, Maastricht University wants to be at the forefront of educational innovation, always with an eye on the future. We prepare our students and our region for the challenges of society and the labor markets of tomorrow. And we have not started doing this only yesterday. In our short but very rich history, we have continuously developed our education, beginning with the transfer of knowledge, then enriched by putting skills at the center, and now by teaching our students above all how to recognize and acquire new relevant skills themselves. Dear guests, the skills of yesterday are not the skills of today. And the skills we teach today will be tested again tomorrow by a world that changes faster than ever. Technology, artificial intelligence, political instability, all shape the future our students will face. And it's precisely in such an unsettled world that the university must be a beacon. Throughout the centuries, universities have stood for knowledge, collaboration, and freedom. And today, that role is under pressure. We see, for example, how in the United States, universities are being cut back or steered by politics. Here and together, we must stand firm in defending global academic values. That is why Maastricht University educates graduates who stand firm, who are not intimidated by change, but equipped to think critically, to collaborate, and to live our shared values. This is our compass. Innovation in education is what we do, from pioneering in problem-based learning to becoming a so-called fifth-generation university. Such a university is designed to be highly adaptive, an integrated hub for research, teaching, and knowledge exchange, focusing on human and civilization building. And at our university, we aim to tackle complex, local, regional, and global challenges through long-term cross-sector partnerships with industry, governments, non-profit partners, and, very important, citizens. For instance, take Brightlands, where we collaborate in this so-called triple helix structure with the region, with companies, and other higher education institutes. And right now, we are intensifying our collaboration with the Maastricht University Medical Center, which again will bring greater benefits to people in our region. We don't work inside an ivory tower. We are a part of society. And as we celebrate our 50th anniversary, yes, we're still very young, in the year 26, starting, take your calendars, with the first big event on the 23rd of January, we will use this entire anniversary year to show our strong commitment to innovate, to engage, to connect, and to learn. And dear guests, above all that, what never changes are our core values: open science, scientific integrity, academic freedom, and diversity and inclusivity. These are not only ideals, nice in strategic programs, they are skills for life, but can never be taken for granted. I already briefly touched upon threats to academic freedom, but also values relating to diversity, equity, and inclusivity, in short DEI, require our fullest attention and active protection. Ever since our founding in 1976, Maastricht University has been about doing things differently, rethinking how we learn, how we connect with, and contribute to society. Today, that means not only innovating in education and research, but also in how we live our values of inclusion and equity. This too is innovation, ensuring that all voices are heard, that talent can flourish regardless of background, and that we educate students not just for careers, but for citizenship in a diverse world. Innovation in education is not only about technology or teaching methods. It's also about the values we carry into the future. And at a time when societies across Europe and the world are experiencing renewed pressures of division, discrimination, and exclusion, Maastricht University chooses a different path. We are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, not as just an afterthought, but as essential for tomorrow's world. Because the ability to collaborate across differences, to respect different perspectives, and to uphold dignity and fairness in all contexts, these are skills that allow our graduates to thrive and to lead in the decades ahead. That is why Maastricht University has decided, also in the coming period, to fully commit to embracing D&I values. We are not only enriching our university today, we're investing in tomorrow's leaders carrying these values into society. And I'm proud that D&I values are a core part of our Maastricht University DNA. But as said before, they need attention and protection from all of us. So let us enter this new academic year with confidence, aware of the different challenges, but also of the strength of our community. Because it's together that we learn, together we adapt, and together we can and will make a difference. I wish you all a very inspiring academic year. Thank you very much.
Roxana Mînzatu is a policymaker with a deep commitment to education, social inclusion, and equal opportunity. She studied political science at the University of Bucharest. From 2016 to 2020, Roxana served in the Romanian Parliament. As a Member of Parliament and later as Minister for European Funds, she focused on education policy, youth opportunities, and regional development. Today, she serves in Brussels as Executive Vice President of the European Commission and Commissioner for Social Rights, Skills, Quality Jobs and Preparedness. Here, she plays a central role in shaping the long-term strategy of Europe for inclusive growth, lifelong learning, and a resilient labour market. Roxana Mînzatu is often referred to as a commissioner of the people. Her work centers on a clear belief: skills are not just tools for employment. They are the foundation of equal chances, strong communities, and future-ready individuals. This mission and vision make her one of the most valuable speakers for today's theme. Please give a warm welcome to Roxana Mînzatu.
What a beautiful video. I am absolutely surprised how much you've researched to bring forward some of the moments of my life. Thank you. I'm so honored to address this speech to you today. I normally speak freely and from the heart, and while today, please allow me to read my message to you, be assured that it is rooted in my heart, in my experience, and is deeply, deeply personal as well. So, dear President, thank you so much for the warm welcome, dear Rector as well, dear students, dear academics, dear fellow Europeans and friends. It is indeed an honor to join you today at the opening of a new academic year. I stand here today not just as the Executive Vice President of the European Commission, as a commissioner, but as somebody that is really passionate about education and really believes in the power of education and the ability of education to shape destinies. I think that this moment today is more than a tradition. It is a celebration of infinite possibilities that education offers to both individuals and communities alike. This year's ceremony is, as was mentioned before, especially significant as we are embarking in the 50th year of the Maastricht University, which I think is a remarkable milestone for the university, for the city, and I would dare say for Europe and European education per se. In these 5 decades, your university has grown from a bold experiment into a global leader in education, in research, and most importantly, in innovation. And Europe needs so much champions in innovation. Your institution is a testament to the power of bold ideas and of the courage to think differently, and indeed to integrate thinking differently into normal lives. Every academic year opens up a new chapter, not just for the university, but for each of you, for each of us. And each chapter matters because it shapes the story of who each and one of you becomes. And it is the story of the society that you are building by your becoming. I was talking in the beginning that I do believe in the power of education from a very personal perspective. And I would share with you that I come from Romania, of course, from a very modest, from a very poor family. And for me, education was, I don't know how to call it. It was, of course, many say education is a window towards possibilities, a staircase toward chance. In my case, education has been many times a refugee, a safe harbor, a place where imagination, creativity offered me both energy and inspiration, but comfort and peace at the same time. And whenever life became difficult, and it did become difficult many times, as I was born in 90 and 80 in Romania, and my childhood was started in the communist regime, and then in the first year of Romania's transition to democracy, I would often return to this spark of hope that school would offer me. And it was in different ways, and I think it's the same for all of us. The joy of opening a new book. Today we open computers and we open different media, but it is the joy of discovering new worlds, the joy of discovering different contexts, new explanation, clarity, solving problems, finding answers. And that light provided by education was always very, very bright for me. And I, of course, am here today not as commissioner, but as Roxana Mînzatu, to encourage you to really hold on tightly to that spark, to your own spark, the dream or the story or whatever the motivation may be that brought you here to the University of Maastricht. Because I think that it's this spark that will carry us forward and will carry you forward across the challenges that may lie ahead. But speaking about challenges, I will also address the challenges that Europe is facing. And we are at a crossroads. And it's not just Europe, the global arena, our planet is, I think, at a crossroads, and we see it. The challenges are immense, they are multifaceted, they were mentioned here before, earlier, geopolitical, demographic, more so for our continent than for other places in the world. There are economic divides, there's, of course, the climate pressure, rapidly evolving new technologies. We need a Europe that really is able to understand these challenges and not just in speeches. We need a Europe that is really able to adapt, and most importantly, we need a Europe that is able to lead forward, tackling the challenges that I mentioned and many others. And our European leadership needs to be anchored in our strong values. And all the values that I've heard that are shared and upon which the University of Maastricht have been built are purely European values, and I need not repeat them. And our answers as Europe to challenges need also to remain very much people-centered. Because we need to be all the time acutely aware that Europe's greatest strength is not just its market, its single market, or its treaties. It is in the people, in our people, and in the values that we live by. Solidarity, fairness, opportunity for all, to just add up to the values that are shared by your university, such as inclusion, equality, diversity, respect for human dignity, and so on. When we invest in people, and when we invest in their talent, I think that we invest in the very health of the DNA of Europe itself. And that is why people, their education, their skills are the very heart of Europe's priorities. Or at least that is my role in this commission, to make sure that in a time when we, of course, are aware that we need to steer towards action to be more secure, to be more competitive, to be more autonomous, we also need not forget that we have to support, protect, empower our people, and education is the main key. Talking about education at the center of Europe, I've structured a bit my speech in terms of dreams. My portfolio is a bit wider, as was mentioned. I am both the commissioner for social rights, for labor, for social policies, for employment, for quality jobs, but also the one responsible for skills, for education. And it is very important to let you know that I think my work, that I guide my work for the education, especially by talking not just about numbers, but by working powered by dreams. If there is a place where dreams can really shape policies, I think it needs to continue to be education. And I will share a couple of the dreams that guide our work on European education. First of all, I would share that, and I've said it in my hearings as well, Europe, I think, is much more than a union of states and much more than a single market. It is a shield. Of course, in times of fear, in terms of crisis, we can consider Europe a shield from many perspectives. But I'm talking about a shield that protects us and our future, and a shield that really is able to empower each and every one of us. A shield built through solidarity, through shared values, but above all, through shared quality of education. I think education is really the strongest ingredient of this shield. And I think that it is the only one that is really, for real, future-proof. Because without education, without quality of education across our union, we cannot talk about functional democracies. And without democracy, we cannot talk about really empowering type of freedom. So I want to make sure that all Europeans have the right skills, the right competencies to both adapt to transformation and also be able to boost innovation, so that you are best prepared not only for the jobs of today, but also for the jobs of tomorrow. In green tech, in health, in digital, in cyber, in defense, and beyond that. But for this, we need, as I've mentioned, to return to education. And I would mention that we need to make full use of the strength and of the potential of Erasmus. And I know you know Erasmus. It's a brand of Europe. It changes lives, it opens minds. Your university is a champion in the Netherlands in accessing and offering Erasmus grants. We know how it offers knowledge and skills and friendships, and it really helps bring forward a more united Europe. And yes, we have proposed a bigger budget for Erasmus for the next multi-annual financial framework, 2028 to 2034, 50% more. Hopefully the numbers will stay or increase after negotiations. But the dream about Erasmus is not about budget. It's not about numbers. It's not about the budget increase. I think, and I invite you to work with me towards that Erasmus needs to upgrade. We need that every young person in Europe, from primary school to university, have access at least once in their lifetime to at least one Erasmus experience, one Erasmus opportunity that allows them to grow beyond their limits, beyond their individual potential, beyond their country borders. And that means taking Erasmus from a financing program, study and travel opportunity that is available to some, to a right that is a right accessible to all, to each and every young person in Europe. This is a big dream. Of course, that's how dreams are. They do not seem feasible in the beginning, but I think that this will be the brick and mortar that builds the next generation of our European Union. As next generations need to reconnect with the project of the European Union, their sense of belonging will be much better supported by Erasmus as a right, and not just Erasmus as one program of the European Commission. And of course, I encourage all of you to access and use and seize the opportunities of Erasmus. I think that especially here in the University of Maastricht, we have a responsibility to be part of Erasmus Exchange, to share your ideas, your values, and to share your sense of Europeans throughout your exchanges. I would also mention that, of course, talking about the world of work, about skills, I think that Erasmus could play an important role in developing and offering Europe the top talent that it so desperately needs in clean tech, in AI, in space, in sustainable development, other similar fields, and that I think our young people have the potential to lead in all of these areas. The resources, the connections, the access that Erasmus offers through its different strands of support are so important for this endeavor. I would want to point out that I proposed that we will launch targeted Erasmus STEM scholarships. This would be a first. Scholarships that would support a more powerful program. Through these scholarships, what we want to do is to make sure that our future is crafted by the most brilliant minds who are not just raised or educated, but most importantly, who are empowered to deliver right here in Europe, so that we do not lose our brilliant STEM minds to other markets, to other countries, to other ecosystems, but we are able to support them to act and perform here at home. Talking about where education takes us, I would also share another dream about European education, and again, it's really familiar to most of you. The dream is, and I've embraced it again from the beginning of my mandate, that we are able to work so that we offer the opportunity for students to enroll in a university and while being enrolled, study in different other universities, campuses, return to their home base and receive a European degree. It is the situation where you can have a student enroll here in the University of Maastricht and do several semesters, go then to the university in Madrid, do a last year university in Eastern Finland, and in the end get European joint degree recognized everywhere in Europe. I'm very, very happy to say that the University of Maastricht is making this dream a reality for the students that are part of this community of study, and that you will launch, as I've heard, this year, the joint Bachelor in Urban Sustainability Studies. And this is truly a program that embodies European cooperation. Students that are able to shape their own path, work with peers from different disciplines and countries, innovate with companies, and build a European network that will last for a lifetime. This was made possible because of the leading role that your university, the University of Maastricht, had in the alliance, the Young Universities for the Future of Europe, UFE Alliance, one of the European university alliances that the Commission supports, one of the 65 European university alliances that we support. And for me, the alliances are a blueprint for the European universities of the future. We need to work into turning them into a reality for all students and for the entire education ecosystems in Europe. By investing in European university alliances, we really work towards making the foundations of Europe much stronger. It's about reducing fragmentation, pooling knowledge, resources, increased efficiency in investment. We address skill shortages in areas that are most vital to our future, such as the green and digital transformation. And that is why we will continue to support these alliances under the next multi-annual European budget, and it is one of my key priorities. But I would add that I think that these alliances, which offer this multi-university, multi-campus, multi-professor experience to a student, that in fact never leaves, but is a mobility connected to their university of origin, is very fair, is so politically relevant to the fairness that Europe politically needs. We need, and we talk a lot about the right to move freely across Europe and the right to stay. We talk about it, but I think the alliances really deliver on it. They really deliver on an ecosystem where we are able to balance brain drain, where we are able to connect universities and offer mobility, but at the same time keep the resources and the talent grounded to their original university, and thus be able to really show solidarity in terms of talent and educational resources. I would also mention that in the next multi-annual budget, you will see, and we will fight for this, that not just Erasmus will support European university alliances. I think that the alliances are key for Europe's competitiveness, and that's why the plan is to finance them as well through the newly created European Competitiveness Fund, and this will give them much more power to support quality European education. In today's world, technology, notably artificial intelligence, is at the forefront of daily change. It is already part of our lives, in classrooms, in workplaces, in doctors' offices, everywhere. And yet, here's the truth that I must share and that I must repeat, and we must, I think, hold on to. Technology should serve and enhance our capabilities, not diminish them. AI should help us learn better, should help us work smarter, but with clear rules, with strong values, and with ethical guardrails. And this is why The plan is, both as Commissioner for Social Rights, but as responsible for education, to work towards, with EdTech, education technology, EdTech companies in Europe, to build the European sovereignty approach in digital education. I think that if we are to be prepared for the next generation of AI-powered education, we need to have strong EdTech ecosystems. So this is a work that we do jointly in the Commission. We need to build a trustworthy, homegrown, digital, and interoperable education system, one that is able to provide privacy, to support teachers, to support professors, to promote equality, and reflect our European values, such as dismissing or eliminating discrimination. I would return to the idea of dreaming for Europe and how we can act for that. And of course, we are here in Maastricht, which is so important in the history of the European Union. It is here that in 1992, the Treaty of Maastricht was signed, and the EU that we today know was born. It is then that the Treaty of Maastricht launched the notion that Europe is much more than a single market, but it is a community of values, of rights, of opportunities. And then as a student in the University of Political Science in Romania, and then in the master's degree, I remember learning and being tested and quizzed about the then recently approved Maastricht Treaty, and be assured or be proud that the name of this community where you are now learning or living was present in so many classrooms and in the minds of so many students, so many generations, at least those that studied European affairs or political science or such. So for me, it's especially emotional to be in such a symbolic place. Now that treaty, the Treaty of Maastricht, really sought to go beyond the notion that Europe was just this single market, as I've mentioned. And to me, as Vice President responsible for both education and employment, that really means one thing, that we need to work to make Europe the best place in the world to both learn in and to work and be fulfilled. We need to make Europe the best place to dream and then to live the dream. A place where top quality education is valued and accessible to everyone. A place where innovation can go hand in hand with working conditions that are good, with strong social rights, with strong social protections for all that come to Europe in search for a better life or are born in Europe and want to build for themselves a better life. A place where we embrace new technologies that are able to serve people and not the other way around. The challenge we face every day is to live up to these big, beautiful words, to what we committed to in the treaties and to all the promises that we have made. And that responsibility is, of course, first and foremost for the politicians. But the work to make the European dream come alive, I think, belongs to everyone. It's every generation that must make the European project its own. Yours will do so in a world shaped by climate change, new technology, shifting global power, a lot of uncertainty, but also a lot of possibility, much more possibility than previous generation had. And as the German writer Hermann Hesse once wrote, a magic dwells in each beginning, protecting us, telling us how to live. And what better beginning than to start with your university studies? Here you gain the knowledge, the tools to navigate this world of uncertainty, but also of possibility. Of course, if I can give an advice while you step in this new academic year, is of course that you go forward with curiosity, asking questions, challenging assumptions, but as my message to you was put forward, also by holding on to the dreams. Keep dreaming. I think that Europe needs people that have ideas, that have energy, and that dream for a better future for this continent and for our political project. Of course, the Maastricht Treaty gave Europe those moments, early 90s, a new beginning, a new sense of hope. And today, I think it is your turn, especially here in the University of Maastricht, to write this next chapter. I thank you, and it is my honor to have been addressing this message to you today. Good luck in the new year. Thank you.
Am I on? Yes, thank you so much for this very powerful speech and sharing all your dreams. Now, here in Limburg, we also know how to dream. We dream a lot. We also make it happen. The one thing we dream about, the governor will know, is the Einstein telescope. That comes to Maastricht. So we need some push there to make that dream also become a reality here in this beautiful region. But you also came to the right audience here, because we have the commissioner, we have the governor, I have to say, we have the mayors from all of the biggest cities in Limburg, and I think they will share you in the dream to make Erasmus a right for every pupil and every student. And I think that message, besides all of your other messages, is something that we can also genuinely support you in your your cause in Brussels and beyond. So thank you again very much for sharing your wonderful dreams. Now, in a few moments, we will listen to both Mark and Ellen, who will provide us with even more knowledge on this ever-changing world and where we're all being tested, not only teachers, but also those that go to work every day. But before we do that, we first would like you to enjoy a moment of movement and expression. Now, Pamela and I have tried to get this audience moving, I think, at every occasion in this theater, and also when we are in the church in January. It never works. So we thought, let's stop hoping, let's stop dreaming even, maybe. Let's now invite a group that will move themselves. And this is a group that is called O2, and it's a competition team of the professional dance group Oxygen Maastricht. And they will also come back later to our stage. And we're very, very proud to welcome them here. It's a group of 15 dancers aged between 12 and 20. And this performance is for us extra special, as it features one of our very own students, Jolijn van Vught, from the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences. She is a student with many, many talents, something we, of course, only encourage. She will come together with the group to perform. If you do feel like standing up, you're welcome. Let's just try.
feel like I should like... Again? Yeah. Wow, how do you follow that? That's incredible. I'm afraid my presentation will be a bit more boring and probably also less dynamic. And I also took the liberty to write my notes down. I broke a wing over the summer, and I have some difficulties writing. It took me about 5 days to prepare this speech. And I had no time left to actually learn it by heart. So I'm going to try and do it like this. If it's too boring, I tried to practice it so it wouldn't sound too boring. So I hope you don't fall asleep. All right. As been said many times, one of the main challenges that universities face in the next decade is to help prepare societies and economies for the future of work. And artificial intelligence has been mentioned. It's a good example. I'm sure you all know that we live in a time of rapid AI innovation, and it's really not clear how all these innovations will play out. And one of the main challenges is the labor market. Now, if you read, let me see if this works. If you read the newspapers, there roughly seem like two types of expectations. One, people like this who believe that AI will fundamentally change the way we work and will improve everything. And these people expect that we'll become much more productive and much more happy in our work. And two, the ones that think that AI will fundamentally change the way we work, but that it will destroy jobs and make us miserable. And these people then fear mass unemployment, booming inequalities, and control by machine overlords. Well, in the institute where I work, the Research Center for Education and the Labor Market, we actually started studying this. We started studying the impact of AI on work roughly in 2016 and 17. And when we first started, we have a marvelous team of people who do this. It struck us how little we actually knew back then. We really didn't understand how AI impacts work. And neither did the field. So what we tried to do is we tried to come up with a number of kind of nifty research designs that would help us get closer to what is going on. We did macro analysis of the labor market. We ran automation scenarios. We worked with companies that implement AI, and then we mimicked RCTs as best we could in the field to actually assess the causal impact of AI on work. We worked with FHML and universities abroad to study how AI, for example, impacts the work of doctors. We did qualitative analyses with workers. We did all that for years to see if AI makes workers actually more productive, happier, or not. And after doing this for roughly 10 years, I can stand here now before you with pride and say with confidence that we still don't really know how AI affects work. And we made some progress, sure. So we showed, for example, that AI is most likely to impact highly complex, highly skilled jobs, our types of jobs. And that's new. We also found that AI can make workers better at what they do, like these doctors that we recently tested. Doctors that use an AI can reach diagnosis better than doctors that don't. And importantly, we found that AI would probably impact a lot of people. Now, we see pieces of the puzzle, but we don't really get the entire picture. And I've become to appreciate that this is a feature, and it's not a bug. The impact of AI on work, we've learned, differs between occupations, it differs between occupational tasks, it differs between countries and regions, and it's very hard to paint a general picture from that. And for scientists, that's good, right? Because it means that there's more research needed, and that's for us always good. But for policymakers, for employers, for employees that actually have to deal with this uncertainty, this is a real problem. Because how do you make policy? How do you prepare society for a future that you really don't understand? This is a real challenge, and I think here in Maastricht, we actually at least figured out part of a solution that might be fruitful, and I want to share that solution with you today. So maybe start then with what we do know. We know that AI will indeed fundamentally change the way we work. It's already happening. And we also have a general understanding of how this will play out. So we know that artificial intelligence can do certain job tasks, sometimes better than us. We know that some jobs will disappear. We also know that new jobs will be created. And we also know that many jobs will change fundamentally. And what we do know, and I guess that's the one certainty that we arrived at pretty early on in our research, is that the new jobs will be vastly different from the old jobs. Now, as any sociologist or economist will tell you, the classic answer to this problem, to this challenge, is education. We need to reskill and upskill large parts of the labor market. And the complicating factor here is that we cannot know what these jobs will be like. So we know that AI changes the way changes what workers need to know, and it changes the skills that they need to be productive on the labor market, and we are uncertain what type of skills they actually need. So how do you do that? How do you retrain and reskill large parts of the labor market without actually knowing what skills are required? And that is the main challenge that we now face, not just us, but also other universities. And here in Maastricht, we might have figured out just how to do that. So what we did is, to some extent, reinvent lifelong development education. And we developed a model that can help us professionalize our lifelong development organization and to redesign it in a way that allows us to respond in a flexible and agile way to changing skills requirements as they occur. And core to the idea was first, and I'm a bit ashamed to say that out loud, but the idea actually was first that employers probably know best what their employees need in terms of skills and knowledge. That was actually an insight for us, and that we also probably should listen to them when we start designing our reskilling programs. And this seems very obvious, but for universities, this is not a given, right? Our curricula traditionally are much more linked to scientific disciplines and much less to occupations, and that is a very good reason. But for reskilling programs, the model has to be much more outside, inward-looking. That was the first insight. And the second is, and we've learned this from our research with artificial intelligence in firms, is that firms are not omniscient. They don't know everything, and particularly when the future is very murky, employers and workers can benefit from the knowledge that we as scientists produce about the way the labor market develops. And this is all the more important as the future, has been said a number of times, is increasingly uncertain. AI is by far not the only transition. We have the green, the energy transition, we have tectonic shifts geopolitically, geoeconomically, demographically, and all these transitions, of course, are different, but what they have in common is that they change what you and I need to know and need to do on the labor market. And then the final insight was that coordination and collaboration are better than competition. Societal challenges, ladies and gentlemen, are daunting and far too great for one university to take on. But if we work together with other schools and universities, we actually can produce a curriculum that is tailored to societal needs. So this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to design an approach that would allow us to be in constant dialogue with employers, with other schools in our region, and we call this the lifelong development loop, in which we bring all these parties that are relevant to the production of lifelong development programs and co-create educational programs that work, that are in demand, and that help employers and employees to make the transitions that are so important today. And together we are now building a continuously growing and flexible portfolio of educational programs that can help employers and employees to make this transition, both in our province and also beyond. And as you can see from the smiles of these two totally real, totally existing, not AI-generated employers, you can see that it works, right? Now, you must understand that this approach was by no means a given. And it all seems quite mundane if you say it out loud, but what we tried to do here was, in a sense, really paradigm shifting. We generally don't tend to think of lifelong development as a thing that universities should be overly involved in. Received wisdom sees lifelong development as a thing for the private market and not necessarily as a public responsibility. But we reasoned that in times of rapid transitions, it is not so much a luxury for public institutions to become involved in lifelong development, it is an obligation. If large groups of people have to be retrained for AI and we fail to rise to the occasion, we will miss out on the potential economic benefits and run unnecessary risks of societal upheaval. Similarly, if we fail to train people for the green transition, we will not make our climate goals, and so forth and so forth. So we better get this right? So we started to build. Here in Maastricht, we founded the Academy for Lifelong Development. And this academy, led with inspirational and excellent leadership by Director Bowen Jansen, I'm pretty sure you're here, brings together all the great units and departments that are involved in lifelong development activities in our universities, and there are many. And it empowers and positions them, and it helps them to prepare our province for the future of work. And there is more that I want to share. It is little known, but I guess we may be proud that our Maastricht vision is also taken up elsewhere. So at the request of the universities of the Netherlands, and with the help of others, we redesigned and scaled our Maastricht vision into a national program that is now currently rolled out. It was financed by the National Growth Fund a couple of years ago, and now all throughout the Netherlands, universities of applied sciences and vocational schools are using our Maastricht vision to reinvent lifelong development and build programs that help employers and workers to prepare for the future of work. So we actually started a national movement here. And I think that's not too shabby for a young provincial university. And I do think it is something we, as a community of scholars, can and should be proud of. We did this, we built this, and it's nice. All right. Yes, give yourself a good round of applause, very good. So, what does that mean for me, you might ask? And it doesn't mean nothing, I can tell you that. So for my esteemed colleagues in this audience, professors, researchers, teachers, please be aware that it's important that we all take responsibility as academics to be involved in the reskilling and upskilling of the labor market. Societal challenges are daunting, and we need you to solve them. At Maastricht, UM Academy can help you to build educational programs with true societal impact. If you can help, please join us and join the effort. For employers in this audience, and I know you're there, know that we are here. Find us here in our university. We are dying to be your partners, and we are very much eager to help you make the transitions you have to make in the best possible way, and we are ready for this. And finally, for our students, please know this. Your time here in Maastricht, however nice it undoubtedly is, will invariably come to an end. But it's not over when you leave here. We are still here for you. Should you ever feel the need to retrain, should you feel the need to upskill, to reskill, and I'm guessing that you might at some point, please come back to Maastricht and find UM Academy, and we will help you, as we do now, to become the best version of yourself in the future, whatever that future may bring. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, my dear fellow speakers, for both your introductions. They offer a great outlook on the changing world and the impact of, amongst others, technology. And you have made it clear that as institutions in higher education, we have a responsibility. Let us explore this a bit more. And where do we stand as Maastricht University? But let me first start with a short personal story. While preparing for today, something my daughter said came to mind. She's now in her 5th year of medicine here at Maastricht University, and she's currently doing her clinical internship. And one evening, she told me how lucky she felt that ChatGPT, as one of the impacts of artificial intelligence, wasn't around during her bachelor's year. She said, if ChatGPT had been there in my early years, I'm not sure I would have learned the way to think the way I do now, figuring things out myself, learning to reflect and discuss with fellow students in small groups, no shortcuts. It really helped me to learn deeply and to reflect. And that moment stayed with me. A student under pressure in the hospital, already looking back and seeing the long-term value of her study, not just the content, but the approach, the skills, and the mindset. Well, my daughter was obviously educated in an education setting with problem-based learning, because that is what we do here at Maastricht University. And that is the academic and personal growth we strive to create every day again. Deep critical learning that goes beyond answers, but it goes toward understanding, responsibility, and curiosity. A mindset she developed herself, supported by our teaching community, and together with fellow students. Yet, let us be honest. AI is around, it will stay around, and it will help us, hopefully, in solving the critical problems we are all facing. So, how do we assure that all students of today and tomorrow experience the same deep learning as my daughter had. Let me take you back for a minute. When Maastricht University was founded as the Rijksuniversiteit Limburg, we indeed introduced a bold new education model. Problem-based learning with foundational principles, small-scale, self-directed, and focusing on real-world problems. And while we have remained faithful to all these principles, we have also shown flexibility. The EdView project led by EdLab and the Education Research Department by the Faculty of Health, Medicine and Life Sciences in 2017-18, involving over 1,700 members of our community, clearly showed that while we cherish the core of problem-based learning, we also embrace diversity in education approaches and diversity in pedagogical methods, because different minds need different pathways. And we continue to explore new education approaches. This freedom to innovate without losing our compass is key, especially in a world where students must not only know, but question, interpret, and imagine, especially in a world where artificial intelligence is around. We have at least two major challenges in education to address. How do we use it to support better teaching, better learning, better assessment? And how do we assure that our students grow into critical, digital literate thinkers without losing their own direction? Fortunately, our faculties are already experimenting with tools, feedback methods, course designs, and it's promising and necessary. A nice example was given by Mark in his presentation just now. How does AI impact the work of doctors? So, if the work of doctors change, should we not teach new doctors how to use artificial intelligence? And that's the crux for me. Artificial intelligence, it can generate answers, it cannot reason, doubt, or care. It needs direction from us human. And I believe that's where problem-based learning shines. Students learn to ask better questions, to reflect and to analyze complexity, to remain curious and cautious in a nice and perfect balance. Still, and it was mentioned, we need to go further. Digital or AI literacy, it must become a core academic value, competence, more than just a technical skill. That's also the focus of a project EdLab will start tomorrow, and it's called The Future of Learning. We will explore, together with the community, that's really important, together with the community, what does it mean to be a responsible, independent scholar in an AI-driven world, and how do we as Maastricht University maintain our core values of problem-based learning, and how in the end can we translate it into our curriculum for both students and staff. So, we will explore this together with you, an open invitation to join us in thinking about this topic. And there's also more. Today, students come with new experiences, many shaped by disruption, acceleration, ambiguity, uncertainty. And research shows they often struggle with confidence and making connection. So there's also a role for us there. It's developmental, relational, and philosophical. How lucky are we that we have problem-based learning? Small groups, real dialogue, focusing on real-world problems, peer learning. All these different elements of problem-based learning build character, resilience, and a sense of moral imagination and responsibility. And at Maastricht University, we offer students many ways to engage critically with the world. In the day-to-day practice, real-world problems are addressed. But we have also opportunities to work on civic engagement, participating in honors programs or business challenges. We have the Brightlands campuses where we work together with partners in the region. We have networks like UFI. They all create opportunities for our students to deal with uncertainty and collaborate across disciplines and cultures. Some of you may say, I'm a bit too optimistic. Maybe, but it doesn't mean I'm naive. I believe, and it means believing in our capacity to adapt without giving up our principles. This capability to adapt is what makes our community. And I've seen that resilience and that capacity. We had the hack only a few years ago. We had the pandemic. So, when the unexpected happens, we responded. And we will do now. Because we are strong. We are united by shared values and ideals. We are resilient. We have been tested. And we are creative and innovative. Because we continuously dare to ask, what if and how could this work? So we are not naive about the challenges, but we are not standing by the sidelines either. We choose to act together. And let us keep investing in our students, our values, and in the craft of education. It gives me the opportunity for an invitation. There's a Dutch saying, wie jarig is, trakteert. And EdLab will celebrate its 10th anniversary in 2 weeks' time. We will become a museum-like experience, and we invite all of you to visit us. There will be workshops, there's an exhibition, a few surprises. Let us celebrate, let us share our questions, and let's imagine. We would love to hear your stories, your ideas, and your answers, and your hopes for the future of education. It brings me to my final thought, and back to the conversation with my daughter. Education isn't about learning to find answers, it's about forming minds. Critical, compassionate, curious minds. Let us keep shaping that kind of learning, especially in a world of change, disruption, and challenges. And together, we are ready for tomorrow's challenges. Thank you.
Buenos Aires, el puerto de San Lugar.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark and Ellen, for your contribution today. And not only for that, but also really for your continued dedication to the innovation of our university. We are really happy to have you here. And wow, what an energy. What really the stage was bursting with energy, with light. And this was not an ordinary performance, dear guests, because they are really performing on a global stage, and we are extremely proud to have them with us here today. So thank you to this great talent, to your line, to the O2, to the oxygen. So thank you for being with us once again. And Rianne, the mayor, just told me that we made the right choice to invite the professionals. So, dear guests, it is now time for a very special moment in the ceremony, and that is the presentation of the Hustinx Science Awards. Each year, we proudly recognize a colleague of our university whose research goes far beyond the state of the art. This award is made possible thanks to the generous support of the Hustinx Foundation, and we are very grateful for their long-standing commitment to honoring academic excellence, with a prize that includes 15,000 euros to further support the winner's academic work. This year's prize goes to a forward-thinking staff member from the School of Business and Economics, and the jury, shown here behind me, has reached a unanimous decision. Now, please join me in congratulating Dr. Roman Briker, deserving recipient of the 2025 Hustinx Science Award.
I received the prize for my work on social influences processes between humans and humans and humans and machines. My main interests are social influences at work. So how do humans influence each other, but also how do human and machines influence each other? How do they build trust? How does one party make the other party do something, whether good or bad? And when do people resist or accept this influence? So my latest research and really my passion is about human-AI interaction and mostly about human-AI interaction in groups that are larger than just the human and just the AI. So assuming you're a team of 3 or 4 people with several humans, but then an AI or a robot joins in. And you see, okay, how does the team dynamic change? How does the robot or AI influence the people, how they interact with each other? Do they feel observed? Do they trust the AI? How do they trust the AI? Does it depend on the other people? Timmy is our good friend and helper here in the DEX lab at Maastricht University. But increasingly such robots are our teammates, co-workers, helpers. What if several humans cooperate with Timmy on a task, and how much do they trust each other? And what I show, for example, that trust, that human-AI interaction is really a social phenomenon. I think the human side is the key side in the revolution and development of AI. How do you see your coworkers and colleagues if they use AI? And we show that people actually punish others for using AI, which is really weird, right? There's this powerful technology, and nearly everybody uses now ChatGPT, but we show in several studies that if you know that a colleague used AI to perform a task, you trust them afterwards less. And what if the opposite? What if an AI becomes charismatic? Be empathetic? Do we become skeptical? Do we resist? Or do we react and accept that in a similar manner as we would from humans? How does it change how we work, how we live, how we interact with each other, how we trust each other as humans?
I would like to ask Dr. Briker to join me on stage. congratulations, also on behalf of the board of the Hustinx Foundation. So we have a nice gift for you as well. There you go. Oh, you brought some fans today with you, right? There you go. This is the certificates, and we have flowers. And maybe I can hold the flowers, and you can take this, because to show for the photographer, to make them happy. There we go. And if you would just stay 1 second, I would also like to ask you, what does the award mean to you, Roman?
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks a lot. I was told I had 1 minute, right? So I was like, okay, what do I do with 1 minute, right? So I want to say thank you. The award means a lot. I was really unexpected. That's always the best surprise, right? If you don't expect it. So thanks a lot for the Hustinx Foundation for the support, to the committee for the selection. Very honored to that. My department, OSE, for nominating me. Support of all the great collaborators and PhD students that I get to do this work with. I'm really excited, and of course my family for their support in this a bit of strange job and profession that we have as academics. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and congratulations. Yes, thank you. And now we will proceed to the next special recognition, one of my favorite ones, this 2025 Student Award. Because this award honors students or student teams who succeed in making a real impact beyond their studies, and that is really important. Whether through culture, community engagement, or societal change, this award celebrates initiative and engagement. The winning project receives €1,000, and also important nowadays, their picture is placed on the UM's very own Wall of Fame in our executive building. And we have 5 exceptional nominees this year. So let's watch a video again.
So our project, Off the Puff, is on vaping amongst youth, especially like high schoolers. We see that it's a very big problem. People are vaping younger and younger, and there's not enough research and not enough knowledge among youth. So we really want to try to raise awareness and help people fight their addiction. We are actively building a campaign to try and broaden our reach, and we would love to see this go nationwide in the future as well.
So we're the Global Studies Bridge, and we are a very recently built platform. We're 5 people and also teaching fellow working on this project over the course of the year. And what we do is try to engage with an online audience using a lot of digital storytelling tools and techniques as well, in order to showcase people within global studies, interested people in global studies, and people beyond academia, what we actually do here within our program.
Project Busted is a project that focuses on breast cancer awareness, early detection, and of course how to do the self-checkups. We do this through hands-on workshops in which we teach the signs, symptoms, and risk factors. And the self-checkup, we do it through balloons that are filled with flour and Tic Tacs. We not only want to teach you about breast cancer, but empower participants to learn their own bodies and get to know their breasts.
At Redonate, we fund entrepreneurs in low-income countries using 0% interest loans. Now, we fund very sustainable projects. For example, in Mali, we funded a sustainable hospital. Also, we work a lot with sustainable agriculture. We fund this with local events we do here in Maastricht, and we fundraise through various activities such as lectures, football tournaments, and various other events.
What we do at Maastricht is essentially we aim to be fertile grounds for any sort of ideas that students might have in the fields of cybersecurity specifically. We aim to take resources, expertise, ambitions, and make something real out of it. So we try to help people with startups in the region, for example, with security consulting, because we have a lot of expertise, we have a lot of members, despite starting very recently, and to mean something for the region.
What a talent, what an engagement. It's something really we are very, very proud of as Maastricht University. But we had to choose a winner, and after reviewing all nominations, the jury selected a project that stood out both for its societal value and long-term vision. We are proud to announce that the 2025 Student Award goes to Bastiaens, led by Eva de Groeve. So the project led by Eva de Groeve and Laura de Rave. Unfortunately, Eva and Laura could not be with us today because of the engagements abroad for their studies. But we are very, very honored to have Jane Okafor, Laura's mother. So Jane is Laura's mom. She's, of course, very, very proud, but it is especially very special that you are with us today because you are not only Laura's mom, but you were also their inspiration for this project because you had a cancer, breast cancer yourself, and that was the inspiration for them to start this project, right? So as a woman, and personally also knowing many other women who had to fight breast cancer, I know how important their work is, raising awareness of breast health and breast cancer. And the way Eva and Laura empower women, girls, and everybody with the breast tissue to understand their own bodies in such a smart and accessible way is really, really impressive. So their work is impactful, courageous, and deeply, deeply human. So congratulations to them on winning the 2025 award. I will first give you some gifts for them that you can bring home to them. So this is Laura's. And the flower. And I will keep this one, and then we are going to take a picture first. We can stand here. And I will take that again from you. Because also, Jane, I would like to ask you to say a few words about this award.
Wow, I'm overwhelmed, and this is not even about me. I was just telling one of the admin secretary at the back that I'd told the girls I've arrived in Maastricht from Belgium. I don't know what it's going to be today, but I just wanted to tell both of them that I'm very proud of them. And after seeing the 5 worthy projects, it's really an honor. All projects stood out, and I'm really honored that Bastiaens team was shortlisted for this. So I'm just going to bear with me. Let me read out the speech they gave me, which I printed out. First of all, thank you for this humbling honor. My name is Jane, and I'm deeply privileged to accept this award on behalf of the project Bastiaens. As Eva and Laura cannot be here today, both Eva and Laura are currently advancing their medical studies, Eva in India, and my daughter Laura in Australia. As Laura's mother and a breast cancer survivor, standing here is profoundly personal and meaningful opportunity. Eva and Laura's fierce commitment to breast cancer education and prevention is truly inspiring. Through the Bastiaens project, they create a safe, welcome space where people of all genders can openly discuss their bodies, learn to perform monthly exams, and embrace early detection without fear or stigma. This award amplifies their mission, shining a bright light on breast cancer, the most common cancer among not only among women, but also among men. With this recognition, Eva and Laura can expand Bastiaens project, fund more workshops and events, and continue teaching the critical importance of early detection, a key to saving lives. Their goal is clear and simple: to empower people to know their bodies, take charge of their health, and eliminates the taboos surrounding breast cancer. On behalf of Laura and Eva and the entire Busted team, thank you for this honor. Let's keep the conversation going. Continue checking your breasts and work together to save lives. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. There you go. Yes.
Joyful, joyful, we adore you, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before you, opening to the sun above. Melting clouds of sin and sadness drive the dark of doubt away. Give
Wait, before you go. What a wonderful performance of the ode. I would say, all-rounder Jolijn, who can do everything, I think. Thank you so much with your colleagues from the conservatorium, with the dancers. You really made a big show today. So again, a warm applause for you. And to the Euro Commissioner, this is not because you are here that we do this performance, I have to be honest, because we do this ode every traditional academic ceremony, also fitting very much with our identity as the European university. So it's, I think, in particular, an honor now that you are here to also be part of this. Thank you so much. With that, I am happy to officially, I always need the hammer, which I never get, open the 2025-2026 academic year. A year to reflect, to embrace the changes and challenges that lie ahead. You might get concerned now after all the speeches that we've had, but we can do it. And of course, it's also a year that marks the 50th anniversary of our university. And this milestone will be extensively celebrated as of next year, starting in January 26. A last special thank you to Roxana Mînzatu, Mark Levels and Ellen Bastiaens for sharing your dreams, your thoughts, your knowledge. You have given us a lot of inspiration that we will bring with us to the reception and continue the discussion. Thank you so much. Now, we would like to invite all of you to join us for the reception, which is, as those of you who come more often, at 2 floors. If you want to dance with the mayor of Maastricht, he really is a good dancer, then you should go to the floor below this floor, because there will be a jazz band, which is called the Trio, with 3 people, with Wim 4 people, from also the Conservatorium of Maastricht. And online guests can also, this is new for me, enter the virtual waiting room, not with Wim, but with music as well. So you don't have to go out of the live stream, just stay, there will be music as well. So thank you again so much for joining us, and hereby I close the academic ceremony. Thank you so much.